The new Anbernic RG35XX Pro is $44.99 right now, $49 full retail on their website. The PowerKitty V20 on LITNXT is $65.99. The PowerKitty X35S is $99.99 on LITNXT. Anbernic's own RG353VS, which is getting old now, is $77.99 on their website. You can get it on sale. Currently is on sale, so I don't know how much better it gets than that. And the Anbernic RG35XX, which started this all, is $39.99 on their website. So that's not a lot more to get sticks and a few other odds and sods on the RG35XX Pro. So the Pro really is for a redesign and the sticks. That's pretty much it. I mean, there's a lot that has gone into this. You know, we're getting some new triggers here, and the colors have a lot to do with it. It's this lovely green. What are they calling this? Well, it's transparent teal, which is exactly what I would have called it because I am so well informed. You've got the white. So they were kind enough to send me both of these. I don't know if they're trying to butter me up or what the story is. The white is really smart. I know some people might not like this sort of kiddie style color on here, the red, yellow, blue, and green on here. But other than that, it is a lovely design, and in the white, it really does look smart. And then they also have it in the black. So the colors are a big part of it because Anbernic lately have been knocking it out the park with the colors. I really liked the color options on the RG40XX V, is this thing called? And I said this was near perfect, and it really is. This thing with a single stick, very nice. But we're looking at the 3.5-inch version. It is a 4x3 screen. We've got a 3200 milliamp hour battery in it, so nice battery life on this. I'm busy doing actually a battery test on here. I put this on sleep yesterday with a certain game playing in the background, and I was on 4 bars and I'm still on 4 bars. So the sleep mode on here is very good, and you're going to get great battery life by just pressing the power button off and on. And that brings me to the operating system. Anbernic have come a long way. Now, I really hope with the next, whatever the successor to the XX range is, I really hope they don't take the entire range of devices to get to a nice operating system. I hope they just learn from this and carry it over to the next thing. But we've got a lot of features in this user interface that we're going to talk about in detail a bit later in this video. Now, the SD card that comes in here isn't a Kioxia or any brand name. It's just a generic card. So, you know, I don't know. People talk about these SD cards failing. I have them sitting on the shelf, and then I'll play, and they're sitting on the shelf play, and I never have them fail. I think once or twice maybe I had SD cards fail, but that is something to look into. Maybe in the future you might need to buy an SD card. Fortunately, with these, you don't need expensive, super fast SD cards because you're only going to play, the same par for the course on performance with these H700 chipsets. So you're not going to need a super fast SD card. So I think you should get by with this cheap card that they've put in here. Now, to talk about controls, Anbernic have at times, like with the RG40XX V, made slightly stiffer action buttons and they need to wear in over time, which is not a big deal, but they do remain sort of stiff-ish, as you use them. Whereas these have got the nice glossy buttons. They feel like the RG40XX V buttons, but they're just a little bit less stiff. And these just feel really nice in gameplay. The travel is sort of considerable. If you're an Xbox gamer or whatever, this is going to seem like quite a lot of travel for you. But overall, nice retro buttons. I like Anbernic's buttons. They're really nice. The D-pad is the same. I'm pretty sure the buttons are this. No, actually, I think they're the same buttons. I don't know. But they've got the same feeling as the RG35XX. And they've got the same D-pad, very nice D-pad. As you'll see in my gameplay, works fine in Street Fighter and all of those things. We've got a really good trigger design, slightly clicky, but a soft click, not that sharp digital click that you get with some of these devices. Soft press menu button, soft press start and select, and then these joysticks. This is a first look. I played a couple of games. It does feel like they are snapping to cardinals. Now, I know a lot of people go on and on about this snapping to cardinals. It's the end of the world. I just don't think it's the end of the world on a handheld like this. In fact, I think sometimes it's nicer because this doubles as a D-pad. And yeah, I don't know. Most of the games you're not going to notice it. Some of you might be die-hard fans of a specific game, and then snapping to cardinals is going to be an issue. And my usual, not too bad for an Ambinic. We got a bit of a rattle on the triggers, but you know, that's not the worst. That's the RG35XX, so yeah, that is a little bit better. I always just complain about that because just dampen your buttons, you know, and they are doing that here a little bit more than on the RG35XX. And then obviously pocket ability. Now, the comparison here is I do have not skinny jeans, but they're not very loose pants. So here's the RG35XX. I mean, with these, you're always going to get a little bit of a bulge, but all that you're getting here is it's longer. So if we look at these triggers, see, you've got these triggers, but they are flush-ish with that lip. And so when you put it in your pockets, it's still pretty pocketable. And thanks to the fact that these joysticks are the classic Switch style joysticks, pocketability is good on this. Okay, now screen brightness, I'm not going to dim the room completely, but let's just quickly do a screen brightness. So menu and volume usually is the shortcut on these handhelds. Okay, so let's just switch off here. With quite a bit of ambient light here in the office, this is a little bit bright. So if you've got a game playing, that's going to be a little bit bright in your bedroom with your significant other sleeping next to you. Okay, so now at its brightest, it's fairly bright, but now I'm in the dark. Let's brighten everything up again. So this is a mid-range screen, as a lot of the XX devices have been. So it's not super bright and it's not super dim. So, you know, bedroom gameplay in the pitch dark is going to be a bit of an issue. Bright sunlight is going to be a bit of an issue. But, you know, those are just extreme use cases. Don't play in the pitch dark and don't play in the bright sunlight. Rather be swimming with your family instead. I say that. It's summer where most of the viewers of this are, but it is very, very cold here today. South Africa, Southern Hemisphere. Okay, I want to mention the apps because Ambinic, this is where I say the user interface has come a long way. And some of these app things are sketchy. I'm going to warn you, and I'm not going to judge it as I'm looking at them because they are useful. So sketchy, but useful. Okay. App sensor. We've got the music player, and I put some FLAC files on here which play. Obviously, your speaker down here at the bottom, we'll talk about the audio now, but I put some headphones in. I've got my trusty, dusty Apple headphones from, bloody hell, these things are over 10 years old now. This is from when they still gave you headphones with your phone. And I sat and I listened to it while I was writing the script and fiddling with the handheld, you know, like testing the handheld. And it works really well. There's a fair amount of glitchiness, so like every now and again it'll glitch, and there's pretty poor audio quality. There's no DAC in here, digital audio converter, so digital to analog converter. So there's no DAC in here. So you're not going to get amazing audio, but you are going to get audio. So this is, you know, it's, if you're not an audiophile, this is kind of cool. I mean, the best music player on any of these cheap handhelds is this on the Anbinic operating system. None of the custom operating systems have a nice music player like this. It is the best. So it is nice. And I think I would love to see Anbinic put a digital to analog converter like they did on the Nano. The Nano's music player is kind of cool, but this is cool. So I know they put the Pro on here, but can they do like a Pro with a digital to analog converter? Because that would be so cool. Like if they could do a little handheld, like the other thing. Anyway, I really think Anvinic could really nail that. That's what she said. Again, you're gonna have audio issues, But you will be able to load like MP4s. I haven't tested any of the other video formats, but you can load movies on here and watch these movies. So there's a lot of flexibility with this operating system. I mean, the screen is decent. Like I always mention, like I had a great experience watching 24 on the iPod video. And this is kind of that. So it's very nostalgic, but it's not without its quirks. It just froze on me after trying to get out of that video. So, it's not without its quirks. It's got an ebook reader, file manager, PDF reader, Weedy Wheelie, which is a player of a Chinese video app. So it's an app that plays videos. Anyway, so you can access that, but that's more for the Asian market. But yeah, it's sort of like a YouTube thing. Okay, here you sort out the bezels. I tend to just remove the bezels. I don't like bezels, but I know a lot of people do like them. There's an image browser. You can modify the settings and all the tools and that. But here's where things get interesting. So we've got the Rixel HK game downloader. Now I tested this. So it's pretty much just a ROM downloader. So, like I said, a little bit sketchy, but, you know, this is what people are doing, and so it's making that convenient to do. And you can go in here. Some of them are not going to play on here, like these are 3DS games. There's a PSP game, Ridge Racer, so you can go and download these. Um, and then once it's downloaded, so here is the thing. Once you've downloaded a game or added a game from your legal ROM library, you can go here to Tiny Scraper. So in the past, one of the big criticisms I had for these XX devices is that there was no scraper, artwork scraper. So now you've got Wi-Fi. Now you can use that Wi-Fi to do what the good Lord intended it to do, and that is to scrape. So here it's looking for any missing games. And so once I downloaded that cheeky little game, it appeared here, and I could scrape the artwork for it, and then the artwork appeared in the menu. So that is great. Like I said, sketchy, but convenient. And then, the user interface is just good. You've got your game ROMs, which is standalone emulators. You've got your RA games, which is your RetroArch. The only thing I still have a gripe here is that they're using, I think, a custom file for setting up their RetroArch. And so very often, if you try to tweak the RetroArch, those saves and those tweaks don't always stick. So sometimes you are stuck with what they have chosen for you. You've got favorites, you've got your history, you've got search, which is a very nice feature. If you've got a big ROM library, and they do ship these with fairly large ROM libraries, you can just go ahead and search for a game here. And the other big gripe I've always had with these XX devices, the H700 chipset devices, is that the power management was a bit sketchy. Now, the charging is still the same charging circuitry, so you must use a 5-volt, 1.5 amp charger. So just, like I've got a power bank here, an adapter with a built-in USB. That's going to be a standard basic charger. If you use a fast charger, you do run the risk of burning these things out. But they don't have auto resume, but they do have this. There we go. It's switched off. Now, like I mentioned, I left this overnight. So yesterday, sort of towards the end of the day, I just said, okay, let's try this sleep mode. And now when I started making this video at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it had not lost any charge significantly that I could see it on the bar. So I hadn't lost a bar, which is great. I think it is basically an auto resume, because now all you do is this, and you're back to the game where you left off. So all my issues with the XX devices are kind of cleared up. The only gripe I still have is that sometimes with RetroArch, if you try to tweak it, it doesn't save or doesn't work because they have created a custom save file underneath. But I have removed the bezel and made this 4x3 instead of 8x7 or whatever it is, and it's working. So, pros and cons as far as I want to use this device. I don't really need to use custom firmware for the XX devices. That's quite a big statement. And it's so nice that, like, for the pro version, that we have kind of reached the pinnacle of the software. But I do wonder whether this is one of the final ones that we're going to get and they're going to move on to something else. I really hope they can somehow use what they've learned here and immediately start on a higher level than they did with these H700 chipsets, because that would suck. So as I mentioned, we do have Wi-Fi. You can use this as a hotspot, so you can use this as a hotspot. I don't know why you would want to do that. Bluetooth settings. Now, Bluetooth is just for controllers, not for audio. Still fine, you know. You can connect your Bluetooth controllers because this does have an HDMI out port, which is fantastic. You know, this is a little console. And it has Moonlight, so you can do some Moonlight things here. So if you've got a game that can stream that's not too fussy, you could Moonlight with this, but obviously you don't have the best Wi-Fi chip in you, so don't expect stellar performance on that. I mean, I'm not going to do a huge audio comparison here. I mean, it's a crappy little speaker shooting out the bottom here. So that is the problem with this, is it is a bottom firing speaker. Now, as you'll see, whoops, as you'll see with the green one, the teal one, there is some sort of foam here that they've used to cover the speaker, which also is going to muffle it a little bit more. But maybe they've just done that for reverberation. Maybe it was rattling in the cage or whatever. But it is a downward firing speaker, and it's not a good one. So don't expect incredible audio performance, but for the crappy little 16 and 8-bit games that we play, it's fine. And just to go back to the power button again, anywhere, anytime, you can just power down the device. Now, as mentioned, it's not auto resume, so you're not going to power up and it's going to open a game. You can try tweak that in RetroArch, but again, VeNXT RetroArch might fight against you on that. So even though this is just a refresh of the 35XX, the Pro version, I actually feel like it is the small companion to the 40XX V. It's got the same design language, it's got the same nice colors. It is the smaller companion to this with 2 joysticks. It's well built. They've redesigned the triggers to be more like the 40XX V. They have done a fake grill here, which whatever, but the build quality is good. The operating system is good. The controls, the colors, everything is good. So although all of these other options have got some things going for them, even their own 353VS, they've all got something going for them. One of these, I can't remember, one of the Power Kitties has got the RK3566 chipset in, which does make it quite nice. They've got some things going for them that a lot of us nerds might prefer. This has everything done well. Everything is good.